cobwebs and dust and everything, but I broke out the Cricut machine. Let me get you situated here. Bring you down a little bit, maybe. There you go. Because since I am going to be home for just a hot minute, I needed to have something creative to do. I want to get you situated, and I want to make sure I'm in the best light. And I need to work in the garden today, so don't mind the. I always say, don't mind what I'm wearing, because this is real life. We cannot be the pretty people all the time. We just can't. But you hear me always talk about, if you have a creative idea, there is absolutely no reason why you should be sleeping on that creative idea. This Cricut machine, you don't know how many years it saved me my sanity. And you really do not know toxicity in your work environment till you are completely detached from the environment that you were doing your job. And I don't know what spell I have been under for the last 3 years, but I finally feel like something has lifted. And I'm praying it doesn't go back to what it was. But I broke out the Cricut machine this morning. I had to get it all reconfigured in the laptop. And I wanted to show you a couple of the designs that I had worked on when I had my t-shirt and graphic business. Did I make a lot of money with it? No, I didn't, but it saved me creatively, mentally, and I made a couple dollars at it. Hang on, because I can't see. Every time I take my glasses off, I'm like, why am I taking these off? I can't see without them, which makes me so angry. Good morning, everyone. But I'm going to show you a couple of these designs. Now, they're a little dusty, and I'll redo them, and I will have to figure out what my plan of action is, because I really don't have a plan of action right now. I've got some outside things that are occurring, but it's while I'm home. And I don't know if it's because I don't know where you are, I don't know if weather, but it feels like fall. And I'm almost ready for fall. I'm almost ready to be cocooned inside and work on some stuff. Hobbies are expensive. And I can't tell you how much money my person spent helping me try to put this graphic design together, between the vinyl, I bought the machine, but all the mats, all the materials, all the sticky things that went with putting this business plan, hobby. At this point, I don't even know what to call it. I don't know what to call it. Hobbies make you money. They're fun. It's creative. But if you get your thought process together, you can make money at it. And I teach this stuff if anybody's interested, and I have decided this morning, if I am not creative and if I am not teaching, I am really not whole. I'm just not. So I'm going to show you a couple of these designs, because right now I'm sitting on probably 25 t-shirts downstairs that I need to sell. Even if I liquidate them in a yard sale, if the weather stays nice, I will be doing that, along with a bunch of other resale things that I've had. But if you do not act upon the thoughts that you have within your mind and implement some form of action and getting a ball rolling, You don't know what's on the other side of what I always call make-believe. You just don't know. You don't know. And you're wasting creative effort. You're wasting creative effort if you do not try to do something. If you don't try. You can let your whole life go by, and if you have not embarked on something fun in your life, if you have not, I can't find the word I'm looking for, all those things that you have in your head, all those conversations that you've had to yourself, if you do not act upon those conversations or what you're thinking or how you're feeling, you will always, always stay stuck. That is almost rule of thumb in any life coaching class that you would take. Really, it just is. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. It only has to make sense to you. And if you were constantly working for somebody else, knowing the environment is so toxic to who you are and doesn't align with the process in which you need to live, it's all you're doing is putting yourself in an early grave. It's all you're doing. You know, when I had this t-shirt business, it was probably more about my graphic design skills and how I could implement that into the Cricut machine. Because if you have just an ounce of graphic design, the world opens up. There's a plethora of things you can do with that small little graphic design. And if you have a business, now you know I started a Printify shop, Kitryn-Marie.printify.me, and I have a line of merchandise. You know, you buy from another supplier, you design some things, and then it's print on demand. If you did not want to do print on demand and you were able to have just a little bit of stock and you could learn how to use a Cricut, if you have a small business and you're trying to find promotional stuff to give out to your customers, coffee cups, coasters, stationery, anything that you can get your logo printed on because you've designed it and you can get it printed out. Magnets, stickers. There's a plethora of things that you can do. If your business is failing right now, you don't have any customers that are coming in, learn how to use the Cricut machine. This is an Explorer Air 2. And of course, nothing is sponsored because I'm still working on brand deals. But I want to show you a couple of these designs that I created. Now, I've had this whole box of stash under my bed for the last 3 years because it was to the point where nothing in life was working. And if you feel like you are at that point right now where nothing in life is working, turn the frickin' TV off and get off your phone. Other than if you're trying to promote your business or whatever. But, let's see if I can do this. Okay, these are just simple little things. And if you want to learn how to do it, I can teach you how to use a Cricut. Once you get the basics in and out, you know, then your world is an oyster. That's all I can say. Okay, so where can I put all this stuff? Okay, look at this. Little deer. You know, if you have a husband, a wife, a partner, whatever, who deer hunts, and you want to make them a little novel something, these get ironed on to your shirt. Okay, little deer, that was one. And you can use it for a holiday thing too. I wonder how I would do as a QVC host. Okay, here was another one. Look at that. The Grinch. Sorry for the glare. You know, these are just little designs that you can come up with. I'm a big Janis Joplin fan. I always say I would have been her sober friend. Let's see if I can do this without pulling apart. You know, these were for t-shirts. Things I made, things I created, things I cut out with my Cricut machine. This is Attitude Like Janice. It would go on a shirt. Imagine you have a business. You have a business. You have a logo. You have a saying. You have a motto. And you don't really want print on demand. You got a little downtime right now because you have no business, you have no customers. And you put together some merchandise to hand out to people so they know who you are. It's a no-brainer, really. You can print out your name. I know everything's backwards. I don't like that. When I was working for not this last restaurant that I just left, but the one before, they were big Chief fans. Big Chief fans. And the competition was always Green Bay Packers. So that was a design that I came up with. And let me tell you something too. If you were learning how to put these designs and these logos together, if you are not mass producing in a manufacturing type setting, you can create these designs and you can sell them. Odds are you're not going to sell thousands of them, and if you do, good for you. Then that's a whole other step in your business. But if you're just selling 5, 10, 50, you can take a design that you've seen somewhere else, tweak it just a little bit. Tweak it just a little bit. You know, and you heat press it. Although I do have a heat press, I just usually use an iron, a towel and an iron to put this on a shirt. And I can shrink it to put on a mug to use for vinyl. And I should have probably grabbed one of my cups to show you. I had made one for my person. He works for the Public Works department here in our city, and I had made one that coincided with who he does work for. Those are fun things to do. Fun things to do. You know, you walk around with a coffee cup that's got your name, your logo, your saying on it, and people are always interesting. It's those conversation starters. Need I say, conversation starters. The Nirvana. What else do I have in here? I got a whole bunch. Because I just literally got burnt out and my brain stopped working. Hippie soul. All you camping enthusiasts. What's this one say? Oh, Rock On Gold Dust Woman. Goes on t-shirt. Oh, this was cute. Cash, Willie, Hank, Waylon, and Merle. Simple things. Simple things. All it takes is time for you to hook up your apparatus to your laptop. If you have a little bit of common sense and some graphic design and learning how to implement, you can do it. You can do it. And I'll talk about those things for your camping enthusiast. And then, of course, you know, for all of us conservatives who are really fighting for America right now, you know, maybe you're implementing that into your business. Maybe you want people to see that America does need to come first. America needs to come first. We all live in this country. Why can't we get on the same page? You know? There's all kinds of things. Let's walk, since y'all love to walk through my house. Let's see if I can do this without falling. I'm going to see if I can find a couple of those coffee cups. My house is a maze right now. It's a maze. Oh, hold on. Let's do it like this. This is easier. Instead of trying to walk you through with the... Hold on. Let's go in the kitchen. Let's turn the light on. Want to turn the light on? Let me get you propped. Let me prop you up right there for a minute. Turn another light on. Hang on. Where's it at? Like, look at this. Say Halloween is your favorite holiday. You know, it's August. I was going to say October. It's August. We're all looking forward to fall. Some have a big hankering for Halloween. Get your Cricut out. Learn to create designs. You can sell these little coffee mugs. $12. That's $12 you didn't have. You go to the dollar store and look for the good, sturdy, plain coffee mugs. Buy a dozen of them. Let's do the math. You have all the materials already because you've already invested in all of that. So once you buy all those materials, and you can start out doing it for $25. $25. Go buy a dozen plain mugs. Your Cricut machine, I think you can buy one on Marketplace for next to nothing. 12 times 12, you do the math. It's money in your pocket. It's money in your pocket. What else do I have up here? Gotta make sure nothing falls on my head. It's bad enough my back is out. Can I reach that? Let's see. Don't fall. No, I need my chair. Hold on. I gotta climb on something, which probably isn't the best thing in the world. You know, here's the crazy thing about when you're going live. You know, people get to see the ins and outs of the craziness in your world. You have to be willing to put yourself out there. You know, okay, hold on. This hurts. I told you I have a herniated disc, right? My kid, who's the massage therapist for the physical therapy department, he said, Mom, I'll look at it. I'll see what we can do. Anything to avoid surgery and like massive doses of medicine I don't want to take. Hang on. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then getting down is the worst part. Okay. You know my brand is Kitryn Marie, right? And I always say, if you take your gifts and your talents and you learn to monetize what you know how to do, it's a gold mine. And right now in this world, the state of the world that we are living in, we are looking for new. We are looking for fresh. We are looking for innovative. We are looking for something other than what we already know. So, let me go. Let's walk back through the other house and I hope I don't fall over this chair now. And look, I still have all my other apparatuses and cameras. I figured I need 3 more memory cards. It's like, why don't I ever have enough memory cards? Alright, let's turn this off. I'll go back in here. But I'll show you this. I'll put you back here. Okay, here's the laptop. Here's my little setup in my office. I'll try to bring you as close as I possibly can. Okay. So, with your Cricut, let's go back. Let's cancel that. You will get a screen. Can you see that? Bring you a little closer. You will get a screen. Will this make me go? No, it won't go closer. Anyway, you get a screen. And then you can pick the images. You can pick the images from their library, or you can download. These are all my designs that I created. And let's just say you want to do a print of something on your computer. Let's replace. Okay, you see that? That is a print from your computer, and then you run it through your Cricut machine, and then you can print these out, and you can create your own stationery, your own bookmarks, all those fun things that make great little gifts for teachers, your kids, your neighborhood. I know this is not my normal, typical content. I understand that. But I think we all get to this place in our life where we kind of feel like, okay, whatever we've been doing, it's just not working. It's just not working at all. Let me get you situated over here. Get you in some better lighting. And I don't know what I did with my coffee. Again, my house is a maze right now because I've got everything everywhere, trying to implement what I'm going to do over the next at least 2 weeks since my back is out. All right, let's get you situated here. I'll put you in this device. Hold on, bear with me. Let's do that. Okay, that's much better. Dogs don't bark. These mats come in a variety of sizes. I gotta clean all these off. It's easy to clean to get them sticky again, although I think I have some spray to make it re-sticky. Sun's starting to come out. It finally stopped raining here in St. Louis. Okay, let me get situated. Okay, so in the last couple of weeks, in the environment that I was working, I had never in my life seen so much gaslighting and manipulation. I'm going to try to get rid of this. I don't know what all this is. Close. I've never seen so much gaslighting and manipulation as what I was witnessing. And at one point, I thought I was literally going to lose my mind. And before I lost my cool, it was adding more tightness in my body. Hence why my back had really been pulled out like a month ago. And I'm a business coach, creative-minded women who want to start these side hustles. Understand that. When I was studying life coaching, it was a no-brainer to understand business practices. It just kind of went hand in hand. So in the environment in which I was working, and once you're very much familiar with narcissism and what coercive behavior looks like, manipulation, gaslighting, to only benefit the people that are implementing these toxic, I could feel my internal getting extremely sick. I could feel my body tightening up because it went so against my grain. Again, it goes back to, if you are a creative person, you can do logical things because society has taught you. You go to work, you work your 9 to 5, you tolerate every bit of bullshit that is out there because you need to stay in an environment for a paycheck, for your 401k, for your health insurance, whatever reasons that have been embedded in your brain. But people start paying attention to how the job that you are in is affecting you physically. Now, a herniated disc, that just comes from years of wear and tear. And I'll tell you what, at one point in time, I loved being in the restaurant industry. Loved it. Loved talking to people, loved force feeding people. I was never really crazy about bartending because you tolerate some really toxic, bad behavior. You witness things. It's just the bartending part of it. It was just I was making good money, but the harassment that goes along with it, the comments, the derogatory comments that are made, and depending on who you are and how thick-skinned you are, it does affect you mentally. But this I will say, since 2020, none of us are the same. None of us. It's bad enough right now. Everyone is trying to make their incomes last in order to, afford your mortgage, your groceries, whatever it is that you need to maintain your lifestyle. But if you were not learning how to do these little side hustles, if you were not learning how to have at least a little bit of a creative side so the logical parts of your life really work. Like a broken record, I had said I had a whole vision in place when my person and I were together. I could see his job was literally killing him. And it hurt me emotionally to see him endure that kind of abuse. But when someone has been brainwashed to suffer in order to do a job, and you can thank the military for that one, and any of you who know that have been a part of that, they are taught to endure whatever the circumstances are in order to get a job done. Now, me, being a woman and emotionally invested in so many different things in life, I thought, okay, if we moved, we had an outbuilding, we had a place where there was tranquility and peace. He had a trade, had a craft, he could still do it on his own, and this business idea that I had in my mind that I knew was going to work. Because that is the thing. If you do not implement what this plan is and start with as little money as you possibly can, the goal always was to retire him from the nonsense that he was enduring because of his rigidity and because of the routine. And I could see how it was depleting his health. So I'm going to ask you, what could you do if really money was not the factor? And if you could step outside of the dollar amount with what you have to work with, what could you do? What could you do? And how much are you willing to risk what it is that you have that you can walk away from? It was not really easy for me to go into the restaurant last week and just say, I'm done. I can't do this. There was no reason to hash out the toxicity because I think mostly everybody in that facility knows of the toxicity, but they are not willing to change the toxicity. So there always has to be someone that says, I'm not doing this anymore. You guys are all out of your mind. This is not how this works. This is what you have chosen. It is not what I have chosen. Walking, knowing, one, I was hurt because of a job, physically, and two, knowing it was destroying my mind people trying to coerce a system that was broken, a system they created that was broken, that was no longer making me any money. So why would I want to stay? Why would I want to be that? Why would I want to be a part of any of that? And here's something else too. You want to know how valuable you are as an employee? Tell somebody you want to leave. Tell somebody you're going to quit and see what they say to you. See their response. Either you'll be the bad guy, how dare you leave us, or no one will say a thing. Because your position, your role, really doesn't affect their paycheck. You're a body on the floor. And that's in any industry at all. Any industry. So while I have this downtime, and while I do have a lot of irons in the fire for the next couple weeks because the grass doesn't grow under my feet, I thought, why not get out my Cricut machine? Let's see what I could restart up just to have a couple dollars coming in. There are always ways to make money. You just have to implement the idea in order to do it. So I'm going to sit here at the computer. I'm waiting to see again what the weather's going to do. I need to get out in my garden. I think I have 12 eggplants on my plants out there. I have so many different eggplants and I don't know what to do with it. I'd been putting it in my sauce that I've been making and I've been frying them up. They're so good. They're so good. The nutritional value of an eggplant is just phenomenal. My liquor demo I did yesterday. Hold on, I gotta get situated. It hurts more when I'm sitting down. My liquor demo, oh God, that I did yesterday, it went okay. From what I understand, the government is trying to ban THC, the component from hemp. Never understood how it got passed to begin with, but apparently it is the two Bush brothers that are fighting against each other and why one is trying to have it banned. One is in charge of the alcohol, the other one was in charge of these THC products. You know, leave it to family to be fighting over money, power, greed. But as a small business owner, you do what you need to do to just bring a little bit of money in. You just learn to be creative. You know, I was lucky. I did, way back in the day when I was going to school, I did study graphic design, just a little bit. Told you I wanted to write for a magazine. I wanted to be able to wrap my words around pictures and images. I've always could talk somebody to death. I have more stories than you will ever know. But taking those graphic design and learning, you know, Illustrator, and it does take a while. Like when I was writing my book, I remembered the formula. You know, on top of having the creative idea, you know, on what the storyline was going to be, you know, it was formatting pages that I remembered from going to school. I did work for a printing company way back before I had kids, and I knew about color run and, you know, web presses, and I knew a small format. So when I was actually putting the cover together, this is my photography. My girl I created from another program. But, you know, photos. You take your photos, you implement it into your covers. It's the small things you do from the little things that you learn. And whether you don't use them right away, and this goes out to all these young college kids that are like scrambling to make $120,000 a year right off the bat. Look at what your gift is. Look at what your talent is. Look at what your skill is. And look at what you can put together on your own. I think I've sold 12 books. My next phase might be to put it into an audiobook. Why not? Why not? I don't have this in an ebook because I am old school, and I think you get more out of something when you have actual product in your hand. It goes back to any of the t-shirts, conversation pieces. Any of the mugs, conversation pieces. You're trying to build your audience, you're trying to build your customer base, you're trying to let people know who you are, what your skill really is, and how intelligent you are. And then when you implement all of these things, no one can accuse you of looking for someone to take care of you. You just have an idea, you have a concept. The process is never easy. It's like anybody who gets a license for something. Once you have that license, that does not guarantee you are going to have a customer base. That does not mean that people are going to come knocking on your door for whatever it is that you are licensed for. You have to learn to market. You have to learn to talk. You need to learn to implement promotioning what you do. Like yesterday, demoing the THC products. I was there to talk, I was there to promote, I was there to market, I was there to sell a product. If you can do it for somebody else, you certainly can do it for yourself. And these are all things that I do talk about in my life coaching classes, putting a vision board together. See it over there? Or any of my business coaching classes. This has been a long time, 37. My videos are getting longer and longer. And I don't know who actually stays to watch all of them. But just who I am, and it's what I do. Kitryn Marie, an artist, writer, speaker, life and a business coach, teach a variety of art and communication classes, have a variety of products and merchandise. And if you would like to learn how to put together your own promotional products, want to learn how to, can we see it over there? Get a Cricut, learn how to do some graphic design. I can teach those things. Sorry, my other microphone stand. Like I said, I'm tripping over everything. I've got every apparatus out right now. I brought all this product out. I got to figure out how to put that together. Two, if you are taking one of my life coaching classes, I'm looking to see where they are. You get a workbook with it. You get something that you can take home with you that will help you prompt putting the images together and putting the words together. That was the other thing. When you have a Cricut and you were trying to do like stationary kind of things, let's see if I can pull this out. Your creative ability, where are they at? Wrong drawer. Sorry. Your creative ability comes down to what you want to use for your merchandise with the products that you already have. Looks like simple paper products, but these paper products make money. And I want to show you how to do it. I want to teach you how to do it. We are leaning towards getting away from the influencer part of life. We are getting away from people who are living these perfect lives and are perfectly put together all the time. We don't want that anymore. We want to be educated. We want to know in real life, in real time, how are people doing it these days? If you go back in time, because I like some history stuff, if you go back in time, generations back, when people had actually skills they could barter, skills that they earned their little bit of money, women who knew how to sew. They had to buy the fabric in order to have clothes. They didn't go running off to a department store. And I can't tell you what year the first department store, but I will look that up. You know I will. Or men who had to cut down logs, trees, in order to put their house together. Way before electric was ever around, there was somebody that made candles. You know, plumbing, they had to figure out water and drainage and how to get from their rain barrel out to their crops. Ingenuity. It's the mother of inventions. And if you don't take that skill that you have, and although we live in a very modern, screwed up society, if you don't go back to that talent that you know and that you have, and understand how other people need what it is that you do. Like I said, I had a whole plan. I saw a whole vision on how my person and I were going to live. But because of fear, because he was not the risk taker like I am, the relationship ended up being sabotaged. When you have one person who is the innovative visionary and you have another person who is not, there's always a clash, but there has to be a compromise somewhere along the line. Look at your own relationships. What is your partner, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, what do they do, and what are you always trying to suggest to them? Hey, maybe our lives would work better if we did this. Maybe our lives would work better if we came together and actually talked out how this is going to work for us. Teaching is always going to be the way to go. And once a generation of boomers or Gen X's are gone, it's these other generations that are going to fail miserably. Technology is great. It only can do so much, but there's always going to have to be somebody who can repair this, that, or the other. So I want you to think about it. I want you to think about what is the vision, what is the plan, what is your business idea, and what can you do right now to help you make just a little bit of extra money in a ridiculous, crazy time when we are all just trying to survive and be happy and be aligned with how an American society really should work. If you are interested, reach out, kitrynmarie@gmail.com. Go over to my website, kitryn-marie.weebly.com. If you're interested in a print on demand where I have my shirts, Fate Turns on a Dime, and they're, I think, $20. They're not that much. They're not that expensive. Go over to kitryn-marie.printify.me. For today, for tomorrow, be happy, be blessed, be thankful for everything. Remember, fate turns on a dime. It is up to you to decide what side of the coin you want to be on. Pay attention to your body. What's your body telling you? How has your job hurt your physical being? And when will you know it's time to walk away? 1, you've aged out. And 2, you're working in a toxic environment that is not helping you at all. Flip the coin. Today may be the day. Take care, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.